Today we are doing a traditional knitting podcast. Hey y'all, welcome to another video. Today is the June-ish installment of my knitting podcast. I'm excited to show you all of my finished objects and then a multitude of whips. I have like a daunting pile of whips here, and each one has like a unique problem, which is exciting, right? That's why we do this. Let's get started. Diving right in with finished objects. Now it's two finished objects because it is a pair of socks. So cute. Okay, these are the Lupiinit socks by Suvi Lyytikäinen. And I am terribly pleased with them. They are DK weight sock and they're a little bit chunky, but I don't mind because I wasn't planning on wearing them in life anyway. I was just planning on wearing them as like bed socks. So they just live by my bed now. Of course, it's been in the 90s since I finished these socks, so I've worn them exactly once, but they're very cozy and comfortable. It has this like really lovely little flower pattern. It's great. The yarn that I used for this is, I'll tell you real quick. So the main color yarn that I used for this is the 29 Bridges Studio Merino DK. 29 Bridges is a Maryland dyer, and this is in the colorway Partly Sunny. And I love it. This was not the original yarn I was gonna use, but turns out that the one that I wanted to use, like none of my contrast colors went with it. So I decided to change to this. The green is a mystery yarn that I got from my friend Laura, and the purple is left over from my Fireweed Fibre Co. Wood Lily DK Advent from last year. I love the socks. My only, not regret, but if I were to do it again, I would do differently item, is that the green and the gray are not contrasting enough in their sort of depth of color. It's fine up here, but you sort of lose the stems, and that's totally my bad. I should have done the old black and white picture trick, because when I, after the fact, took a picture of these yarns in black and white and then looked at them, it was like, oh, duh. Yeah, this green is not going to show up. But it was a good lesson, and I still think they're really cute. Also, can we just talk about like how fast DK socks work up? Man, I've only made one other pair of socks before, and it was with sock yarn. And I don't know, I like finished like this much of it in an afternoon. It was amazing. So everybody's getting DK socks for gifts from now on because I am lazy. Oh, I should say this gray yarn was a birthday gift from my good friend Amanda. So I'm glad I got to put it to good use. It is also 100% superwash merino. There's no nylon in it. So I know that would mean it would wear out quite fast, but again, not planning on wearing it in life, only for sleeping and snug, you know? These are snuggly socks. Those are all of my finished objects. Let's move on to whips. It's just a daunting pile. Okay, let's start with this one maybe. All right, I've got it unfolded, ready to go. This is my Filigree tee by Julie Knits in Paris. And man, it's starting to look like a shirt, right? That's pretty exciting. I am using a Verb for Keeping Warm Reliquary 2 in Honeybee's Haven, which is really lovely. It is a merino silk blend. And I'm really excited. I want to block it right now to see what it's going to look like, because it is a very open gauge shirt, but I feel like when I block it, it's going to be even more open. The pattern does specify that it will grow at least in length by several centimeters. So we'll see. It's pretty close to being long enough. I would say the last time I tried it on was at this stitch marker. I've made it that far since then, which is not that much. But I think I need to do maybe 3 or 4 more pattern repeats before it's long enough to then start the next part of the pattern. The instructions, I will sing the praises of Julie Knits in Paris every time I talk about this shirt, because the instructions, as I have mentioned before, are all on one page for your size, which is the most beautiful innovation I could have asked for in pattern writing. And one other thing that I really appreciate about the pattern is that she says things like, when it reaches this, like 10 centimeters away from how long you want it to be. And that's because we're accounting for this much growth during blocking and then this much for the ribbing, or whatever the formula is. It's really nice. Like, I feel very clear on when to stop, which is one of my greatest anxieties as a knitter, is like, am I going to make it too short? Am I going to make it too long? If you watched my last knitting podcast, you will know that you will remember I was like, I had just started. I was maybe this far along on the body. And there's this really lovely little lace opening pattern on the side. And I'm getting so much better at it. It is like up here, what is that? Nobody knows. It's not what it's supposed to look like. But down here, hey-oh, consistency. I feel pretty excited about it. It has also become easy enough that I can just like, I've took this to a couple baseball games. I took it in the car. I've done a lot of work on it, just not paying attention. So that's good. I really, really enjoy working with, this is a lace weight yarn and a US 4 3.5 millimeter needle. I really enjoy that combination. It just seems to sort of, like, I feel like I can fly with how quickly I can knit. So it's exciting. I don't have much else to say about this one except it will be done the next time you see it. It will be. Also, we could just take a minute and look at how ridiculously cute this little guy is. It's from Black Squirrel Yarn in Berkeley, California. I got it as I was traveling for work, which seems like a perfect segue to look at the tour blanket. Here she is. Last time you saw this blanket, this was the most recent blanket. So I have 2 new squares to show you. I'll show you up close. I'll start with this one. Hold it this way. This one is Forager Fiber Studio Sock Fingering Mini in the colorway Coral. That is hand dyed in St. Louis. And this one is Honey Girl Farm Deluxe Sock in the colorway Cardinals and Holly. And I don't know if the camera is doing this yarn justice, but this is the most fairy tale combination of colors in a skein of yarn I've ever seen. Which is why I got it. These are both from the same store. Typically I just get one skein from a store, but we were in St. Louis for a work trip. I was there for several days, and I loved them together, and I just loved this one so much, and I loved that this one was actually dyed in St. Louis. This one was dyed near St. Louis, so still in Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri. Yep, still in Missouri. So I just had to get them both. But this one, luckily, I still have the rest of the skein because this was a full skein. And I'm thrilled about that because I hope you can see. It's so pretty. I don't know what I'm gonna make with it, but oh, it looks kind of nice with my shirt. I love it. Yeah, here she is, to her blanket. Not much else to report. It's the same old, same old. It is a wagon wheel pattern from the Traveling Afghan, which is by, let me make sure that I give credit where credit is due. You'd think I would have it memorized by now, right? Cecilia Losada. It's really coming along. It's starting to look like a blanket. Next up, I will, on the next trip, we'll go down this side, and I think that's really gonna make it like blanket-like. Excuse me. Little sipper tongue. This blanket is just gonna be in the whip pile for the rest of time because I'm just gonna keep adding to it until, I don't know, till I retire. I have 13 years left in my career, so it's gonna be a big blanket. Okay, that was like uplifting, maybe. How about some bad news? Should we do some bad news now? It's not terrible news because let me say this. One of the things I like most about knitting and crochet and just making things is the challenge of it and the obstacle, right? You like run into an obstacle and then you figure out a way to solve that. So this is the Woodstove pullover that I have been making for my wonderful husband. You may remember him as most knit-worthy guy ever. And this is what happened. I finished the sweater. Like, it's finished. And then I put it on him. And my husband has pretty long arms. The arms were so long, it looked like a straitjacket. It was like, and he's like, no, it's fine, I'll just roll them up. But it's a pretty bulky fabric. So he rolled it up and then it had these huge cuffs. And I was like, no, we cannot do that to you. I want you to be proud to wear this sweater. So I thought, this is a seamed sweater. So I thought, okay, I can just detach the sleeves and shorten them and then reattach them, right? Which is kind of what I did. That's kind of what happened. Look, here are the sleeves. Now they're the appropriate length. Da, 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 2 sleeves, appropriate length. One of the things that I'm still so new to this whole knitting journey. Wait, did I already do this one? Oh, no, I haven't done this one yet. That's why it looks like that, I guess. Okay, well, here's one sleeve. I literally just had to step away from this sweater because it was just like getting worse. You know, when you like do something to make it better and it does the opposite. That's what I did. The way that you seam this sweater together is you attach the sleeves along here, but then you also attach the sleeves underneath. And I felt so confident about where I was cutting the yarn. And I was wrong. I was very wrong. So, okay, so this side of it is okay. I just have to like get all these little curly cues out and then I can reattach that sleeve. It's mostly fine. This side, your girl I just cut a hole in it. I really felt like I was cutting into the right spot, and I was not. So you can see, like, here's the bind off. And then here's just where I went rogue. And this is a reminder to myself and to everyone else who needs it that you should not do these things at like 11:30 at night, because that's what happened. So I have a little stitch marker in there, and it's just holding, hopefully, the whole sweater from unraveling. We're like one pull away from this becoming a Weezer song. But otherwise, the sweater's great. It looked really cute on him. It fit him really well. I was concerned about the fit. The fit is great. So I just need to patch this, which I think is possible. Right? If you have any advice, if you have any videos that you want to share with me that would help me to correct this error, I would greatly appreciate it. There is a lady that I have followed on Instagram. I can't think of her name, but I'll share her page below. And she fixes sweaters. So I've watched a lot of videos of her doing it, and of course it looks quite simple, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. But you know what? I think it'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. The Woodstove pullover. The worst part of this whole thing is I didn't even get a picture of him wearing it as a straitjacket. What's the point of making sleeves 14 feet too long if you don't take a picture? I didn't take a picture. So I don't even have a picture of it on him. This is going back in its bag, and it is gonna stay there for like another at least week or two. I'm not quite ready to confront it. So close to being done. I was done, and then it's okay. It's gonna be really lovely when it is done, and I'm gonna feel so proud of problem solving, and surely I will learn a new skill while I'm at it, you know? Also, it's 100 degrees. He's not gonna wear it anytime soon anyway, so. Woodstove pullover. Let's stay in problem solving mode. This is the Aviva dress by Alanna Miall. And here's where we are with that. I have finished the front. Here's the front. Look at that. It's like a dress. And I am closing in on finishing the back, which is just this little square rectangle. Here's the problem solving that needs to happen. So the way that this garment is constructed, you construct the front in many different directions, and then you construct the back, and then you seam those together. You're supposed to seam across the top of the shoulder seam, and then here down the side, so that you're like creating an armhole, right? This pattern is really wonderful, and so I feel like this has to just be it's like my brain mistake. I must have misunderstood something, because this is like a pattern where you just like make it to fit your body. It's not like do this many stitches. It's like do stitches until you've reached this part of your body. And so the front, you're supposed to make it to go to the side seam. And so I thought I did that. But then you're supposed to make the back to go to the side seam. I have enough bust that from side seam to side seam in the front is a larger surface area than side seam to side seam from in the back. So my problem now is that my back is quite small and my front is pretty wide. And so I can't seam them together. It's basically like this, right? There's like that much overlap. But when I try it on with these pieces seamed together. It fits really well. It fits great in the waist. So what do I do? I think what I'm gonna do, I did some complex math and figured out like what the overlap is here. Let me see if I can actually show you this. It's tricky. The overlap here, I think it's something like 9 stitches or something on each side. So I'm gonna seam those together. Yes, oh my gosh, do you see my brain? And then I'm gonna seam the side together up until the armhole. And then I'm going to attach here and do the pattern basically to match the front. Does that make any sense? Did what I say just make any sense? Basically, I'm gonna end up with this front having like some overhang sleeve, but the back will only go to here. And then I'm gonna extend, I'm basically just gonna like crochet a triangle of fabric back here to fill the gap. Is that gonna work? I don't know, but I am so pleased with the fit of it and the way that the front looks that I don't wanna do it all over again. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated. It's really pretty. This was my birthday cast on and I'm still really pleased with it. I really love the fabric. I'm hopeful that the skirt will fly by. I just have to now, I've sort of done the same thing as I did with the Woodstove pullover, which is that I just been like, this seems hard. Let me work on something else. So I need to just actually block out some time to do it because it feels intimidating. But here's the thing is some action will give me information. So even if it doesn't work, that's okay. I can work with that. I am, however, going to make it very obvious where the joins are so that I don't have the problem that I had with ye old Woodstove. This yarn, do you want to know what this yarn is? This is Hobbii. This is Hobbii Rainbow 84. So lovely. Okay, if you are my friend Patrick, please stop watching this. I don't think he even knows that I have a YouTube channel, so it's fine, but just in case. This is a sweater. This is a granny hexagon sweater for my dear friend Patrick. And my friend Amanda, the one who gave me this yarn, this is like a joint project. So she started this hexagon and then handed it over to me, and I have been working on it and I'm almost out of yarn. So I'm just waiting for my next steps from her. This is Noro. I actually don't have a label for it, so I can't tell you anything other than it is Noro. But gosh, it's beautiful, isn't it? We're holding it double and it's just watching the colors change is really gorgeous. It's like, I really like it when these two, this like blue and sort of purpley blue get together because it makes for such a vibrant but deep color. But then you have these ones that are, you know, like opposite colors. It's just gorgeous. There's not that much to tell about this. It's just a granny hexagon. I think Amanda will probably, Amanda, are you gonna do the finishings on these? We haven't planned that far yet. We'll see. We shall see. But that's that. I had to show it just because it's so beautiful, and I did spend several hours in the car going around and around in a circle. Next, a little off the wall project here. Get all the pieces. Okay, this is my Nats t-shirt. Cute. I cut it to try and make it cuter and still not exactly that cute. So I decided to knit some pieces to go with it. And that's what I have here. This is a little waistband that I knit, which is twisted. And like not even on purpose. My plan is to sew this to the waistband like this. It's not going to look exactly like that, but you get the idea. I'm going to sew this so it cinches the t-shirt in at the waist. And then I started making, I haven't woven in any of these ends, but I made this cherry blossom. It's a crochet cherry blossom. Make sure and tell you the pattern. It's called the Little Cherry Blossom Flower. And that is by Peppergoose. Can't believe I forgot Peppergoose. It's like the cutest little name. So my plan is to make several of these and have them be straps. I think I'm gonna get rid of the sleeves altogether and just make it a tank top. What do you think? It's cute, right? Because these are cherry blossoms. Did you get it? In case that wasn't obvious, these are cherry blossoms, and so I made cherry blossoms to go with it. There's that. It's kind of cool because it's like knit and crochet, and then I'm gonna sew for part of it too. So it's like all of my fledgling crafts coming together into one project. Nat's t-shirt. The waistband is I just used the counts from Kutavakika's Lola top, which I had made previously. So I just made it based on that. It's actually leftover yarn from that project. It's Sandnes Garn Mandarin Petit. Held double in both cases. Held double. All right, that is that one. Just add that to this pile over here. We did that one. Oh, I think we've done them all except for this one. This is the Cozy Days Daisy Blanket pattern by All About Ami. And I'm just using the square pattern because I'm gonna make a pillow out of this. I have a whole video about this, but it's a blanket that was my first big project. And now 2 years later, I'm making a pillow version of it. Different colors, just different yarn, different colors, but just the same pattern. It's been really fun because I am much better at crocheting than I was 2 years ago, as evidenced by the fact that all of my magic rings are about the same size. I just need to make this into a pillow now. I don't think I have enough. I don't think I have enough yarn for, I could maybe do 2 more of these squares with the white, but I don't have enough for 4 more. I was thinking like I could do, I don't need to hold this up for you to know, 4 by 4 on both sides of the pillow. But I don't think that I have enough for that. So one option is that I could do 3 by 3 and do kind of, I'll just use my body to lay this out, 3 by 3. So I could do 3 across, and then in the back, do this in the center and then do granny squares on the other side. It's one option. Another option is to do 2 by 2. When I say 3 by 3, I mean 3 by 1, obviously. 3 by 1. I could do 3 across in the front, and then in the back, do 1 in the center and 2 plain granny squares just in this darker color. Or I could make the front 2x2, and then make the back just one large granny square in this color. Please cast your votes on what you think would be a nicer, cute little pillow. There it is. That's the last of my whips, I think. She says as though that's not 1,000 whips that she's currently working on. I don't really have any updates on my Wallflowers blanket or my Willow Square blanket. So just so you know that I know that those still exist. And I know that you know that too. They still exist. My acquisitions, I already showed you the 2 little yarns that I got from St. Louis for my work trip, but I do have a couple other acquisitions. I think I'm not alone in this, that I love very tiny things, and I also like irrationally large things. So I went to the thrift store, the craft thrift store, which is moving, so they're getting rid of all their stuff. And I just bought this, look at this tiny, tiny little ball of yarn. I just bought it because it's tiny. It's Scheepjes Terrazzo. Why is it so cute? I want to like squeeze it. I'm just a baby. So cute. So that's my tiny acquisition. And then on that same trip, for no reason other than I just was fascinated by it, I got this hook, which is an S, a 25 millimeter. I'm not going to use that, but look how cool it is. It looks like a recorder. Like, it's so big, I feel like I should be playing some early music on it. It's Furl's jumbo hook. And I will say that the lady was so lovely because they were getting a bunch of donations in that day, and I was looking for big knitting needles, and they didn't have any big knitting needles, but she was like, oh, I think we just got some big crochet hooks in. And she showed it to me and I was like, I must have it. And she's like, okay, let me price them really quick and then I'll get them to you. So that was very nice of her. Jumbo hook, S. What do you make with an S size hook? I feel like I could combine all of my yarns into one killer yarn and use this hook. And then last but not least, I got some good old-fashioned chow goos. You know what I'm saying? These are US 17. These are not from the thrift store. I got these at the Craftivist in Atlanta, and these are for a specific project that I kind of have on my short list. I probably won't make it till the fall, but I've been looking for these needles and I haven't been able to find them, and I certainly do not want to buy one set of needles online and cause that amount of shipping in the world. I'm trying to be cognizant of how often I get small things shipped to my house. So since it wasn't an emergency, I just thought, let me just keep an eye out. And I went to Craftivist and I saw these. I'm gonna go ahead and pick them up. So this is for my Embarker Cocoon cardigan, which is going to be using Bernat blanket yarn, which I had bought for another project, and I didn't like it in that project, and so I found a new project for it. And I thought, let's go big and get some chow goos. There it is. What's funny? I was about to say baby's first chow goos, but this is actually my second pair of chow goo needles. The other one are US ones. They're like sock knitting, right? They ones, is that what they're called? Let me look and make sure. Oh, US 1.5. US 1.5. So I have these enormous ones, and then I have some 9-inch sock knitting chow goos. Some little shorties. That's hilarious. I'm gonna have to store them next to each other, like big Chongus and like little brother. That's hilarious. great. That's everything I've ever done in my life. Please vote on what to do with this pillow. Pretty please tell me how to fix my Woodstove pullover. I will be ever grateful if you can do that. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you hanging out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, have fun, be nice, do good work.